Funding for Greater Chattanooga is provided by EPB Fiber Optics and Kelly Subaru.
The process of making artwork is very enjoyable. It's one of the only things that I find myself doing for hours sometimes, and the time just flies by. There's something very cathartic and satisfying about burning the wood and watching it darken under the flame and the smell of it. For me, creating artwork is the source of that sense of flow where you can just kind of exist in the moment and really, be at a level where you're challenging yourself, but you're not bored either by repetition, as long as you keep pushing yourself and making things new. I've been drawing and painting since I was old enough to hold a pencil. I quickly rejected coloring books because they didn't depict the things that I wanted to color, so I quickly learned to draw my own images. My parents always let me pursue as much art as I wanted and enrolled me in private lessons because they didn't have any experience or knowledge about fine art, but they wanted to encourage me, so they sent me to people that did. I got asked all the time, are you going to be an artist when you grow up? Are you going to be an artist when you grow up? And I would say, no, because I don't want to be a starving artist. I had planned to do medicine, but I had one single semester in high school where I didn't take an art class, and I thought I was going to lose my mind. So I decided to switch my incoming major to college to art. In college, I actually focused mostly on oil painting and drawing of the figure and bookmaking and printmaking.
I mean, that was when I learned what book arts even was, because she would just like take a book and turn it into a conch shell and stuff, and I was like, that's really cool. Until we moved here, we were just really broke, so we both just had to work whatever jobs we could, so she didn't get to engage with her art very much.
When I first met Holly, she was working in accounting, so she was in a totally different world.
She was toying with the idea of taking that leap of going in to become a full-time artist.
Once she started doing it again, she just realized how much she had missed it. And then that was it. She got a studio and she just started doing it full time.
I was walking over the Walnut Street Bridge one day, and I looked down into the Coolidge Park beneath. And in the lawn, a maintenance vehicle had driven through the grass, and it kind of in a swooping pattern. And you could see it because of the dew on the grass. So I decided to go make my own drawing in the grass.
They were like the hit of that during that time. It's like, what the heck? How does she go out there and do that?
She's always been like that, just see something and be like, oh, you know what? You could do something with that.
People started knowing me as the Do Girl. And I actually met Kevin Bate walking on the bridge. He used to push his son in his stroller, and he actually got me my first mural gig as part of the Macaulay Walls mural project.
The Macaulay Walls project was something that Kevin Bate put together.
I wanted to take people who weren't necessarily mural painters, but I want to take people whose art I admired, and of course Holly's one of them, and get them to think about scaling up their work.
And so he made this group of us and said, you're gonna pick some walls and you're gonna paint anything.
And Holly just took it and ran with it. I mean, she could have easily taken a much smaller space, but she decided early on that she wanted to do something huge.
Mural painting is something I'd always wanted to try and had never had an opportunity, and I've done several since then.
She found a love for it and wanted to do it again. So she did the one in Cleveland. She was also, she was the lead artist on the one that Meg Saligman did, the AT&T building.
Trying new things, like getting to do these big murals and stuff. I mean, those are big challenges, but she likes experimenting with new stuff.
Since I've known her, she went from painting to encaustics to origami to there's nothing she won't try. And I think that's one of the things I like about her so much, is that nothing scares her.
I think she just likes to think outside the box. She does not let traditional styles of art keep her confined.
I've always experimented a lot, and experimentation is how I came across both the dew drawing technique and the torch painting technique. Was just a, let's see if this works. My primary art form at the moment is something I call torch painting, which is burning images into plywood panels using propane torches.
She calls it torch painting, but obviously there's no paint involved. She is really just creating her highlights and shadows on a wood panel using only fire.
I'm using the tone, the natural tone of the wood as my lightest value and working outwards from there.
The way she brings out the light in the wood is just, it's phenomenal. She somehow makes yellow, kind of drab looking plywood look like it's on fire.
I have no color to work with, so using only value.
What I just think is amazing with her style is that you can't really make mistakes.
Once you burn it, you can't unburn it, so I always work slowly.
You have to really have a plan, and that's how she goes about it. It's very calculated.
As I begin to burn, you'll start to see the natural grain of the wood becoming more prominent.
I think she sees things in the grain and then makes a kind of a custom piece out of that. It's fun to kind of like see what she's going to eventually see in the wood and try to match up and meet with her expectations.
How does she do it? I mean, the detail in that. It just, to watch her do it, it mesmerizes me.
She's using a torch and a spatula, and she's making better art than some of us who are using every tool available to the modern artist. And the fact that she's teaching herself how to do this is especially amazing to me. She's not going to YouTube to learn tricks on how to make fire paintings, because she's the only one making fire paintings. It's spectacular.
I think Holly is open to growing with her art. She's always seeking to improve herself as an artist.
Once she finds something and she figures out a way that it works for her, that she enjoys doing it, and then she creates things she's proud of, the very next thing she does is figure out how could she do it better than what she just did.
She didn't say, I want to be a great painter. I think if you ask Holly, she'd say, no, I want to be a great artist. I want to be able to try any of these avenues that are open to me.
She is always pushing forward. She's trying new things. She never rests with just one thing. As soon as I'm like, wow, this looks amazing, she's already moved on to something else.
I want to take the creativity and the ability, the talent, and opportunity that I've been given and externalize it into a blessing for other people. That's the ultimate goal, is to, make there be something beautiful and lovely in the world that wasn't before.